Hey, welcome back. Another day, another vlog. Back on the couch at work. It's Monday, and hope you all had a fantastic weekend, safe and sound. And there's a fair few in Australia that are lucky enough to have been able to go out and do some stuff. It's still pretty much full lockdown here on site with work. Nothing has really changed whatsoever, even though there was some restrictions that sort of loosened up over the weekend or today for WA. Nothing's changed on site. Our employer is choosing how do you call it? A playing safe, to make sure that worst case something pops up, that what it can do to the business. In fact, it doesn't cost thousands or hundreds, it costs millions or billions. So I think that's probably fair enough. It's a big gamble, and especially what's going on with China, they obviously want to make sure that they're getting everything and to keep paying the bills. They're a big employer, so they need to make sure everyone's tickety-boo. So lots happening there. So on that side, WA today, the regions did open up. So that's fantastic news. You now, if you live in Perth, you can actually go out and, I guess, go and see some nice sights. And it's funny, they talk about everyone get out and go and do stuff. But if you've seen on the channel the videos that I've been doing in the last 3 months since I was home on parental leave, there's so much to see and do within Perth. Now, people don't generally go out as much as I do because I'm going out and making videos, so you guys are locked up, had something to see, and it's good to go and see national parks and stuff like that, because I guess you get to see some nature, and it takes your mind outside of the four walls you're locked into. And there's heaps there, so they had places they could have gone. Obviously they're not pay for places, and I think that's the thing they're really pushing. They really want people to get out and spend money in these regional areas, and I can understand that. There is some amazing places that now open up. The southeast of WA is absolutely beautiful country. If you haven't seen the video I did a while back, southeast, I went all the way down to the southwest corner of WA. It's a gorgeous spot. Cape Lewin, the lighthouse there. Some amazing, you've got caves, you've got some of the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen in the world, with crystal blue waters, just white sand. It's just insane. So you've got Margaret River, you've got Esperance, Albany. There's a million places down there you can go. So it's good that those areas are all opened up, so it gives everyone a choice. And I think having so many choices too is good, because it doesn't put everyone in a, well, there's only one spot to go, we'll all go here, and then you get the social distancing issues. So really, really good. Great for WA. Territory's been open basically back to normal operating procedures, apart from social distancing, since Friday. Haven't heard any bad reports or seen anything bad on the news about that. I think even Sydney, Friday they had opened up, so restaurants and stuff. Nothing new. I think there's only been one more in New South Wales, so one out of a few million is like just not even an issue as far as I'm concerned. The rates we've got anyway are not even an issue, so they're playing way cautious. Before we even open up, it was super mega cautious. So having one pop up here and there is too easy to deal with realistically for the value of getting people back to work. So been really good to see people finally getting a chance to get out of lockdown, and let their minds sort of reacquaint with life, I guess. Very, very cool. And so yeah, hopefully, probably maybe end of this week, if everything's sort of going well, they might ease off of what we can do. Not much we can do here inside anyway. You go to work for 12.5 hours, you come home, you have a feed, you go to your room, you go to bed. The only thing that may ease up, which I think everyone on site's hanging for, is the fact that they've got the bar shut at the moment on site, and I'm assuming that's pretty much most mine sites, the bar's shut, and that may open up if they think it's okay. So I know everyone on site's hanging for that. There'll be a lot of blokes keen to go and have a few beers with the mates. At the moment you only have 2 outside your room, so it's sort of still not bad, but yeah, it's not very social. And being stuck on a mine site, you do need that social release every now and again. As I'm sure all people that work in mines understand completely, it's good to be able to just go and vent or just de-stress from a week or 2 weeks of day shift, getting ready for night shift. So yeah, no, it's not too bad at all. It could be a lot worse. Rightio, so over the weekend there's a few things happening, a few bits of tech and stuff I want to talk about. We have first up Aurora Aperture, their rear mount filter system for cameras. And the only problem I had with this, they seem to be at the moment only really for the high end type cameras, so like your EOS R and your L lenses. So if one of your lenses has already got a rear mount filter, these guys be a really good option for you to look at. They're not a plastic filter, they're a proper glass. They're a Schott D263 glass, so rigidity glass with the proper what do you call it? Layers and stuff like that. So they've got all the layers and scratch resistance and all that chemicals on it. Well priced. They're not super expensive. They've got a alloy frame, so you can touch the frame. It's not just the actual filter. It's not a flexible, so it's solid, rigid, proper glass. Goes in there. They've got a mount that you can put in there. So if you're looking for a mount system, they've got that. I know Canon does make a mount, and I'm pretty sure these will fit into that Canon mount, but these are a lot better quality, and they've got a couple fairly decent amount of options, but they seem to be really only pointed towards the high-end pro sort of level cameras and lenses, like your L lens series for your Canons. But really, really nice. I think it'd be a good if they made an adapter for normal cameras. Obviously, it's more aimed for your big lenses that have that massive 890mm front end that you don't want to carry around all the stuff to put on there. You can carry a little filter that just slots in. That's a lot easier to carry. I'm not sure why these companies don't make a unit that actually you can use on like an EF mount, M mount, like that, because having that filter in there, there's less chance to get scratched, covered in dust. You could have a basic just lens protector or UV protector on the front and never have to change that, and slot your filters in and out would be super easy. Really, really good, and looks like a decent company, but yeah, check it out. So hopefully they may expand their range if they start selling a heap more, but definitely if you have one of those lenses or those camera setups with a rear mount, definitely go check these guys out. Super, super quality. TCL we know from cheap TVs in Australia, and probably in the States as well. They have a phone out. Now, the quality of the TCL TVs, not super fantastic. They are a big Chinese company, and they are getting a lot better. The CES show in January, they were one of the ones that were pushing really hard at micro LEDs and mini LEDs. There was a lot of talk about them, that as a company they're going to get bigger and bigger, and you're going to hear and see a lot more from these guys. Technology wise, they're, I guess, like the early stages of LG are. Used to be Sony was the top of the wazza, and then LG and Samsung sort of were like this new crew on the block, and then they got better and got the technology, and now LG and Samsung are like your top of the range TVs, and Sony's sort of mid-range and just overpriced, unfortunately. So these TCL guys are going to do good things. This phone is going to help them change up from the cheap, crappy stuff to that next level. It's a $450 phone, but it's basically a flagship phone. So if you're an Android user, definitely worth checking out. Quad cameras, and the cameras are flat on the back. They don't have a camera bump as such. Sorry about that. They don't have a camera bump as such, so you can lay flat down on a table, which is fantastic. That's always good. They also have a headphone jack, in-display fingerprint and face technology, Snapdragon 675, so that's where that cost comes down. It doesn't have the big 865 Snapdragon, but it's still mid-range, I guess, chip in it, so it's not a crappy chip. It's a 6GB of RAM, so plenty of RAM in there, 120GB of storage. It's got a 4500 milliamp battery. It's got the fast charge, so you get 50% charge in 30 minutes, which is awesome. Super Bluetooth connect, so you can connect up to 4 devices with this at once. And the main camera is a 64 megapixel camera. So I'm assuming it's that little Sony processor, the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same camera as the Samsung and all that, which I think is a little Sony sensor. So look, for 450 US compared to the other ones, which are 1,000, 1,100 bucks. This is a pretty good looking phone and at the right price. So definitely something worth checking out if you're an Android user. I'd definitely look at this one if you're looking for a new phone. Definitely not a crappy one at the moment. Now, some more stuff on the iPhone. Some locked in. On Friday, they had locked in prices, basically, and the locked in, basically everything's locked in and the prices. So we're pretty much not going to hear anything really major. This is pretty much everything you need to know until September, because that's what they're saying, that this is it, and that's what the rumors are. The models. 5.4 inches of iPhone 12, that's its name. That's OLED, and that's going to be $749. 4GB of RAM, A14 chip, and 5G, and that's going to be, I think, the broad spectrum type. None of these are going to be millimeter waves, I don't think. I know the base models are not going to be millimeters. It might be just the standard, and I think possible the millimeter wave won't come out till next year. So this year we might just see the base 5G come in. Dual camera setup, and there's the next one up will be the iPhone 12 Max, and that's a 6.1 inch screen. It's actually bigger, like your pluses. Super Retina 4 gig, 256 gigabyte storage. Then you go up to the iPhone 12 Pro, 6.1 inch. That's going to have the Super Retina display with XDR, so just basically like a HDR, but a fancier HDR on there. But it's going to have 10-bit color, so especially guys that do a bit of photography with their cameras or with their phones, like if you're doing a lot of Instagram stuff, I suggest probably that base model iPhone 12 Pro is probably be where you want to go, because that those images are going to look fantastic, and you get a bit better perception of the colors with that XDR in there, and the 10-bit color is going to be awesome for your photos. So that's really, really good. 512 gig, that's 1,300 US to start off, and then you go up to, and that's got a stainless steel ring around it, which is sort of the outer case. That's triple camera and your LiDAR sensor, so you get your AR, and we've talked a few things about AR coming up, so I think that's really good. Obviously the cost is the only problem. Then and they're saying that will be 5G millimeter waves. So the base models only have the base standard, that'll get changed up next year. The Pro models, which will go straight to the top of the wazoo. The big one will be the Pro Max, that'll be its name, and that's 6.7 inch. That'll be $1,400. Basically the same specs, same cameras, everything, just bigger, and another $100 US. So 1,300 US. That's poor. That's 2,000 Australian at the moment. I think it's $6.65 to every 100. So yeah, it's going to be, if the price is the same in September, if our dollar doesn't get better, that's over $2,000 for an iPhone Pro. Wow, that's insane. That is insane. My MacBook 13-inch Pro cost me $2,500 with top of the range in 2014, and now the phone costs as much as a laptop. That's just insanity, isn't it? What can you do? There's a lot of technology in there. That 10-bit color is going to be fantastic. I think that's a really good thing. Nothing else really new. We'll get the new chip in there. Obviously the A15 I think will go in there, or A14. That new chip will be in there, so that's awesome. That 10-bit color, that's really, really good. The price I'm not real super fantastic on. 5G is great. It's still not rolled out in Australia, so it's really not going to be much use to you anyway, unless you're dead in the smack of Melbourne or Sydney, or in a city where they've got it, and then even then you're probably only going to get the base anyway, so that's not too bad getting that base model in the standard phones. That'll probably work just as good as the Pro models. The Pro models also should get 120 hertz Now, screen refresh rate, that's not 100%. They're trying to get it to work. They've got to lock that off, they said, by June. If they can't get it to work and they're not happy with it by June, then it misses its production run, and then it'll have to come out next year. So they may do a March next year update, or they may just leave it for another year till next September to get the 120 hertz. But at the moment, they're trying everything they can to get the technology right, to make sure it works perfectly. That's good. I think June the 6th or something from memory. I think they said they have to have that signed off on. If they don't sign off, if they're not happy, that won't happen, and we won't see it this year. Last but not least, there was a good one today, Unbox Therapy, and I hadn't heard of it before, and I sort of half watched it, and then some of the specs and what he talked about was really good, so I kept watching it. Microsoft Surface, we know about the Surface Pad, the Surface Laptop. We talked about them, I think, last week. They got a couple of new items out, and they look really, really good. The laptops come up a level. They're really pushing hard against Apple, which is fantastic. Competition is really good for us because it'll bring those prices down. Except for some reason in the phones, they just keep going up, even though there's mega competition. I don't know how that works. But in the laptop side, it's really good. Now, Microsoft has come out with Surface headphones too, a second model of that. First ones weren't real good. We all know at the moment the Sony WHM series, the 1000 WH, 1000 XM3s are the best you can get. The touchpads, full noise isolating, basically the duck's guts, comfy, light, got everything you want in a headphone. Used to be Bose, now it's these Sonys have been, the last 2 years have been pretty much the best you can get. I think they're like 350 US, what's that, nearly $500-600 Australian. Well, these are going to be $400 Australian, so at least $150 cheaper. And if you're a student, a parent, or a teacher, you can get a discount, so it's only $359 if you buy them through Microsoft. I did, when I was checking out their website, I noticed that. Well, that's pretty handy. So $359 if you're a student, parent, or teacher. The parent bit pretty much covers a lot of people, and a lot of students are going to be wanting these. They're probably the crowd they're after. So yeah, look, $359. The Sony's probably at least $550, depending on sales. So probably a good option. Now these are really nice, super comfy. They're a rounder headphone, and the biggest thing on these, with most things now, like your pods and everything, are all touch, and you got to remember how many touches does what, which I don't really like. I've got the monster ones where I can just go up and down on my thing. I really don't see it as too much of an issue. I've got the little cord, and they're fantastic. But these have touch, but they also, and voice activation as well, but they also have a dial. So one dial is your volume, and it's a really good dial. He was playing with that, and he was pretty impressed with that. This is from a guy that sees probably thousands of headphones a year, so he was actually really impressed with these. So that's a good sign. And also the noise cancellation, so is on a dial. So basically the outer cup spins round, and it's obviously like a variable electronic little unit in there with a little gear, and he said it's really good to operate. Now that noise cancellation has 13 different levels. Now your Sonys only have basically one button on and off, but it sort of adjusts. I think it listens out and it hears. You've still got really good noise cancellation. Definitely probably the next level up, but this is adjustable, so depending on your situation you can turn the noise cancellation right up, or if you're one of those ones that gets I guess a little bit claustrophobic with noise isolation, you can do that. It can be too much for some people. You can turn it down so it minimises a bit, so that's really good, and I think that was Microsoft did really well on that. So definitely an option worth checking out. They look really good. They're a lot better than the previous version. These are definitely ones you could go and have a look at if you're looking at the Bose's or the Sony's as an option and you're looking for a new set of headphones. I'd say definitely go try a set of these on. The sound was good. Everything else he was really happy with. They've got all the pretty much staying. Battery power, I think 20 hours, I think it is. 20 hours if you don't use the voice assistant or something. So 20 hours is heaps for headphones. You're never going to sit there for 20 hours with headphones on unless you're doing a long haul flight from Sydney to New York. But yeah, really, really good. And they look nice. They come in black. Everything on them tickety-boo. So definitely something to have a look at. Go check them out as a nice headphone option. Well, that's it. Monday, we've got a bit coming off. Tomorrow night's shift change night. So what we'll do is I'll do the show tomorrow night, and then I'm going to go out. I'm going to do a little bit of Astro stuff. The clouds have come in. I did have a big plan to do Astro stuff. Friday night, I did a beautiful test run, which worked out to be really lucky because tomorrow night's going to be clouds, so I'm not going to get the same Milky Way, and I've got a couple of awesome photos. Now I'll chuck them in because I'm going to do the room run through and a video on that. I'll do that on Wednesday morning, on shift change morning, and also I'm going to go for a walk so I can get enough footage for 2 videos. I'll do the room run through and camp, and then I can make the video and I'll add those photos in because I got a couple of pearlers. It was crystal clear. Yeah, I was pretty happy with how it come out. I was going to go out tomorrow night. I wanted to do some star trail stuff. I'll check the clouds, but at the moment, using the Windy app, the clouds have come in. And I checked the satellites yesterday, and there was a big front that just sort of rolled across, unfortunately. Wasn't planned that. It's supposed to be clear, but it's just one of those things that happens. It's weather. You can't adjust. You can't do anything. You just got to adjust. It clears away Wednesday night, but then I'll be on night shift, so I'll do, and then I've got to do the show. I'll do that, tape that, and send it out Wednesday for you. Yeah, I think that's everything I had to say. So yeah, the normal show tomorrow night. Then I'll do shift change. I will go check it out. If not, I'll get an early night and get up. I did start trying to do some stuff on the website, but unfortunately, with the internet on site, I've got to go through my phone because the internet's pretty average, and it's only 4 megabyte a second through the phone here on 4G. It's awesome. Go Telstra. So I tried uploading one photo onto one of the pages to start doing, and it took me like 30 minutes, and then it bounced it back because the file, you can't have any bigger than 20 megabytes for a photo, which doesn't make sense because I've got 40 megabyte JPEGs from my panoramas, so I don't know how I'm going to fit them on there. So I've sort of washed away any hope of trying to do the website while I'm up here, so I'm going to have to try and plan that and do that at home somehow. But I think that's the plan because at least then I've got NBN. I can at least get 70, 80 megasecond, thank God. But that's about it. So heaps happening tomorrow. The next day I've got a fair bit on the plate. There's a lot I want to do. I've got a lot of plans on what I want to do. But looking pretty good. COVID seems, in Australia at least, it's been a lot better. It looks like it's been a lot better in a lot of places. It's a lot of restrictions sort of slowly backing down a bit. The cases are dropping, so that's really good. Hope you all had a good weekend. Hope Monday wasn't too bad at work for you guys that still aren't working. Hope you had a chance to go out and spread your wings a little bit and have a little bit of freedom for yourself. Get down the beach, go and have a walk, get some sun, do some stuff. Maybe plan a weekend away this weekend with your friends and go and do some really nice, go and see one of those gorgeous southeast places on the coast. There's a million spots you could go and see, and I'm sure they'd be all super happy to come and to see you roll in the car. Rightio guys, that's it for me. I'll see you all again tomorrow. Stay safe. If you're going that way or that way, I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.